What if the thoughts you repeat every day are quietly shaping your financial destiny? What if there is an unseen law within your mind that can transform ordinary ideas into extraordinary wealth? In this powerful message inspired by the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, we explore the hidden law that turns thoughts into wealth. Your subconscious mind is not just a passive part of you. It is a creative force constantly working to bring your dominant thoughts into reality. When you learn how to impress the right ideas of prosperity, success, and abundance upon your subconscious, life begins to respond in remarkable ways. Wealth is not only created by hard work in the outer world, it is first created in the inner world of belief, imagination, and faith. Tonight, discover how a simple shift in thinking can activate the hidden law that attracts opportunities, prosperity, and financial success into your life. Every great achievement, every fortune, every breakthrough in the world first began as a simple thought in someone's mind. Before wealth appears in the physical world, it always begins in the invisible world of the mind. This is one of the most powerful truths taught by Joseph Murphy, who explained that the subconscious mind acts like fertile soil. Whatever thoughts are planted in it consistently will eventually grow and manifest in your life. The subconscious mind does not argue, it does not question, and it does not analyze whether a thought is good or bad. It simply accepts what you repeatedly impress upon it and works day and night to bring that idea into form. Think about the thoughts that dominate your mind every day. Many people unknowingly repeat thoughts of fear, limitation, and doubt. They say things like, money is hard to earn, opportunities never come my way, or I will never become wealthy. When these thoughts are repeated again and again, the subconscious mind accepts them as instructions. It treats them as commands and begins organizing circumstances, behaviors, and perceptions to match those beliefs. In this way, people unknowingly program themselves for struggle and lack. The hidden truth is that your subconscious mind is always listening. Every thought, every belief, and every mental image you repeat becomes a seed planted in the deeper layers of your mind. Over time, these seeds grow stronger. They begin shaping your attitudes, influencing your decisions, and guiding the opportunities you notice in the world around you. This is why two people can live in the same environment, yet experience completely different levels of success. One person constantly entertains thoughts of abundance, possibility, and creativity, while the other entertains thoughts of limitation and fear. The subconscious mind multiplies the thoughts that dominate your attention. If you continually focus on wealth, growth, and opportunity, those ideas begin to expand inside you. Your mind becomes more alert to possibilities that can increase your prosperity. You start noticing business ideas, connections, and creative solutions that were invisible to you before. This does not happen by accident. It happens because your subconscious mind begins directing your awareness toward things that match the beliefs you have accepted as true. Imagine a gardener planting seeds in a field. If the gardener plants seeds of wheat, wheat will grow. If the gardener plants seeds of thorns, thorns will grow. The soil does not judge the seeds, it simply multiplies what is planted. Your subconscious mind works exactly the same way. It faithfully grows whatever thoughts you consistently plant in it. When thoughts of prosperity are planted, prosperity begins to grow. When thoughts of doubt are planted, limitation begins to grow. Many people try to create wealth only through physical effort while ignoring the mental patterns that control their actions. They work harder and harder, but continue repeating thoughts of worry and scarcity. As a result, their efforts often produce limited results. According to the teachings of Joseph Murphy, true success begins by changing the mental patterns that operate beneath the surface. When the subconscious mind accepts the idea of wealth as natural and expected, your actions, habits, and decisions begin aligning with that belief automatically. The subconscious mind also responds strongly to repetition and emotion. When a thought is repeated with feeling, it penetrates deeply into the subconscious. This is why affirmations and mental imagery can be powerful tools when used consistently. When you repeatedly declare ideas such as, "Wealth flows into my life," or "Opportunities for prosperity surround me," and you imagine those statements as real, the subconscious mind gradually begins accepting them as truth. At first, the conscious mind may resist these ideas because it compares them to current circumstances. But the subconscious mind responds more to persistence than to temporary doubt. When a positive thought is repeated frequently enough, it begins replacing older patterns of thinking. Slowly, the inner atmosphere of your mind changes. Instead of expecting failure, you begin expecting success. Instead of focusing on problems, you begin focusing on possibilities. As this shift happens internally, your external behavior changes in subtle but powerful ways. You begin speaking differently about money and opportunity. Your posture, tone of voice, and confidence start reflecting the belief that prosperity is possible for you. Other people notice this change, often without realizing why. They become more willing to collaborate, trust, and share opportunities with you. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open naturally. Your subconscious mind also influences the decisions you make each day. Every action you take is shaped by your underlying beliefs. If your subconscious accepts the idea that wealth is achievable, you will be more willing to take constructive risks, learn new skills, and pursue opportunities. If your subconscious believes that wealth is impossible, you may unconsciously avoid opportunities that could improve your life. Many individuals sabotage their own success because their subconscious beliefs conflict with their conscious goals. They may consciously desire wealth, but deep inside they may carry beliefs such as rich people are dishonest or I am not deserving of success. When these hidden beliefs exist, the subconscious mind quietly works against their conscious intentions. This inner conflict prevents consistent progress. One of the most important steps in activating the hidden law that turns thoughts into wealth is replacing these negative beliefs with empowering ones. This does not require complicated techniques. It requires awareness, repetition, and patience. Each day, you begin choosing thoughts that reflect the reality you want to create rather than the limitations you want to escape. Visualization is another powerful method for impressing wealth consciousness upon the subconscious mind. When you vividly imagine the experience of financial freedom, your subconscious mind begins treating that image as a real possibility. The mind does not always distinguish sharply between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. As a result, repeated visualization can strengthen the belief that prosperity is natural for you. When you imagine success clearly and consistently, your brain begins forming new mental pathways. These pathways influence how you perceive challenges and opportunities. Problems that once seemed overwhelming begin appearing as solvable situations. Instead of reacting with fear, you respond with creativity and determination. The subconscious mind also works continuously, even while you sleep. It processes information, searches for solutions, and integrates ideas in the background of your awareness. Many inventors, writers, and entrepreneurs have experienced sudden insights after focusing intensely on a goal and then allowing their mind to rest. These insights often emerge from the subconscious mind after it has been given a clear direction. This is why it is powerful to impress positive ideas upon your mind before sleep. In the quiet moments before rest, the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious becomes more receptive, repeating thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and opportunity during this time allows those ideas to sink deeper into the subconscious layers of your mind. Over time, these repeated impressions reshape your internal identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who hopes for success, you begin seeing yourself as someone who naturally attracts prosperity. Your sense of possibility expands. The goals that once felt unrealistic begin feeling attainable. Another important aspect of the subconscious mind is that it operates through belief rather than force. You cannot command it through stress or pressure. Instead, it responds to calm confidence and repeated conviction. When you gently but consistently affirm the reality you desire, the subconscious begins aligning with that vision. Gratitude also plays a powerful role in strengthening positive subconscious programming. When you regularly feel thankful for the resources, opportunities, and progress already present in your life, you reinforce the belief that abundance exists around you. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to appreciation, and the subconscious mind multiplies whatever you consistently focus on. As this mental transformation continues, your perception of the world changes. Instead of seeing a world full of obstacles, you begin seeing a world filled with possibilities. Challenges become temporary steps rather than permanent barriers. Your resilience grows stronger because your subconscious mind now expects positive outcomes. It is important to remember that the subconscious mind does not respond instantly to a single thought. It responds to patterns of thinking repeated over time. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, the mental seeds of prosperity require patience and consistent reinforcement. Each positive thought adds strength to the new pattern you are creating. Many people abandon this process too quickly because they expect immediate results. They repeat a positive idea for a few days and then return to old habits of worry and doubt. When this happens, the subconscious mind receives mixed instructions. But when persistence is maintained, the new belief gradually becomes dominant. When the belief in prosperity becomes dominant, your behavior naturally reflects that belief. You begin managing money more wisely, seeking knowledge, and recognizing opportunities that support financial growth. These actions appear natural because they arise from the new mental environment you have cultivated. The hidden law that turns thoughts into wealth is not based on wishful thinking. It is based on the principle that your internal beliefs shape your perception, decisions, and behavior. When those beliefs are aligned with abundance, your actions and opportunities begin aligning with that belief as well. Your subconscious mind becomes a silent partner in your success. It works behind the scenes, guiding your attention, influencing your creativity, and strengthening your confidence. Each day that you consciously choose thoughts of prosperity, you reinforce the inner program that attracts greater opportunities for wealth and growth. Wealth never begins in the bank, in a business, or in the marketplace. It begins in the invisible world of thought. Every fortune that exists today was once nothing more than an idea in someone's mind. Before any building was constructed, before any company was created, before any investment produced profit, there was first a mental image held clearly by someone who believed it could become real. This is the deeper truth taught by Joseph Murphy, who emphasized that the mind is the true workshop where prosperity is formed long before it appears in physical reality. When a person learns to create a clear mental picture of wealth, success, and abundance, they are beginning the process of turning invisible ideas into visible results. The subconscious mind responds strongly to images. Words have power, but when those words create vivid mental pictures, the influence becomes even stronger. A clear image held repeatedly in the mind begins to act like a blueprint for reality. Think about an architect designing a building. Before the first brick is placed, the entire structure exists in the architect's imagination. The shape of the rooms, the position of the doors, the height of the walls, and the design of the structure are all clearly visualized long before construction begins. The physical building simply follows the mental design. In the same way, the wealth you wish to create must first exist as a mental design in your mind. Many people desire prosperity, yet they never form a clear mental picture of what that prosperity looks like. Their thoughts about money remain vague and uncertain. They may say they want financial success, but in their imagination they continue seeing themselves struggling or worrying about lack, because the subconscious mind responds to dominant images. These unclear or negative pictures continue shaping their experiences. When you begin forming a strong mental image of financial success, you are giving your subconscious mind a direction to follow. This image may include the feeling of financial freedom, the confidence of knowing your needs are met, the ability to invest in opportunities, or the joy of supporting the people and causes you care about. The clearer and more emotionally real this image becomes, the stronger its influence on your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not simply store these images, it begins organizing your thoughts, perceptions, and actions around them. Your awareness gradually shifts toward ideas and opportunities that align with the image you hold in your mind. Situations that once seemed unrelated to your goals begin appearing as possible paths toward success. This is not because the outside world suddenly changed overnight. It is because your mind has changed the way it interprets and responds to the world. When your mental picture reflects abundance and possibility, your brain becomes more alert to opportunities that support that image. Consider how often people notice something only after they begin thinking about it. Someone who decides to buy a particular type of car suddenly starts noticing that car everywhere on the road. The cars were always there, but their mind was not focused on them before. In a similar way, when you create a clear mental image of prosperity, your mind becomes more sensitive to opportunities related to wealth and growth. This process is deeply connected to belief. A mental image gains power when it is supported by belief and emotional conviction. If someone imagines success but secretly believes it is impossible, the image remains weak. The subconscious mind responds most strongly when the image is accompanied by a sense of expectation. Expectation is one of the most powerful forces in the mind. When you truly expect something positive to happen, your behavior begins aligning with that expectation. You become more confident, more attentive, and more willing to act when opportunities appear. This behavior increases the likelihood that your mental image will eventually become reality. Many successful entrepreneurs, inventors, and leaders have described how their achievements began as a vision that others could not yet see. They held a mental picture of what could be possible long before the world recognized it. This vision guided their decisions and sustained their motivation even when circumstances were uncertain. The subconscious mind thrives on clarity. The more detailed and vivid your mental picture becomes, the more clearly your mind understands the direction you wish to move toward. Instead of thinking vaguely about becoming wealthy, you begin imagining specific experiences associated with prosperity. You might imagine managing successful projects, creating valuable services, or building opportunities that generate income and growth. These images gradually influence your daily thinking. Instead of dwelling on problems, your mind begins searching for solutions that move you closer to the vision you have created. Creativity increases because the subconscious mind starts exploring possibilities that align with your desired outcome. Emotions play an important role in strengthening these mental images. When you imagine prosperity with feelings of gratitude, excitement, and confidence, the subconscious mind accepts the image more deeply. Emotion acts like energy that charges the picture you are holding in your mind. If the image is repeated frequently with positive emotion, it begins replacing older images of fear or limitation. Over time, the new image becomes the dominant picture in your subconscious mind. Once this happens, your inner expectations begin shifting. Your decisions start reflecting the belief that progress and prosperity are natural for you. You become more willing to learn new skills, connect with people who share your ambitions, and explore ideas that could improve your financial situation. These actions arise naturally because they match the image you have accepted as your future. Visualization also strengthens concentration. When you repeatedly imagine your desired outcome, your mind becomes more focused on the path that leads toward it. Distractions lose some of their power because your attention is directed toward a meaningful goal. This does not mean that every detail of the path will be known in advance. Often the exact steps toward success become clear only after you begin moving forward. The important part is holding the vision clearly enough that your mind recognizes opportunities when they appear. Your subconscious mind is constantly processing information in the background of your awareness. When you give it a clear image of prosperity, it begins connecting ideas and experiences in ways that support that image. Insights may appear suddenly during moments of quiet reflection, while reading, or during conversations with others. These insights often feel like flashes of inspiration. They may suggest a new project, a creative solution, or a different approach to an existing challenge. Because your subconscious mind has been working quietly on the image you provided, these ideas emerge naturally when the conditions are right. The power of a mental image grows stronger through repetition. Each time you return to the image of prosperity and imagine it clearly, you reinforce its presence in your subconscious mind. Go. Just as repeated practice strengthens a physical skill, repeated visualization strengthens the mental pattern associated with success. It is helpful to imagine your desired future as if it is already unfolding. This does not mean ignoring present circumstances. Instead, it means allowing your imagination to experience the feeling of success so that your subconscious mind becomes familiar with that state of mind. When prosperity feels familiar in your imagination, your subconscious mind begins accepting it as normal rather than distant or unrealistic. This change in perception is extremely powerful because people naturally move toward what feels familiar and comfortable. Another important element of this process is patience. Just as a builder cannot rush the construction of a large structure, the transformation of mental images into physical results requires time and persistence. The image must remain consistent long enough for your actions and opportunities to align with it. During this time, challenges may still appear. However, the presence of a strong mental vision changes how you interpret those challenges. Instead of viewing them as signs of failure, you begin seeing them as temporary obstacles that can be overcome through creativity and determination. The mind becomes more resilient because it is guided by a clear direction. Each effort you make feels connected to a larger purpose rather than random struggle. This sense of purpose strengthens motivation and keeps your attention focused on growth. As your mental image of prosperity becomes stronger, it begins influencing the way you communicate with others. Your words, tone, and attitude reflect greater confidence and optimism. People naturally respond to this energy, often becoming more open to collaboration and support. Opportunities frequently emerge through relationships, conversations, and shared ideas. When your mindset reflects possibility and growth, you attract interactions that align with that outlook. The mental image you hold quietly influences the environment you experience. The process of transforming thoughts into wealth begins with the recognition that the mind is not merely a place where ideas appear randomly. It is a creative center capable of shaping perception, belief, and action. When a clear picture of prosperity is planted in this creative center and nurtured consistently, it begins influencing every level of your thinking and behavior. The invisible image gradually becomes a guiding force in your life. Your awareness becomes sharper, your confidence grows stronger, and your actions become more aligned with the vision you hold within your mind. Through persistence, imagination, and belief, the mental blueprint of prosperity continues shaping the path that leads toward greater opportunity and financial growth. Faith is one of the most powerful forces operating within the human mind. It is not merely a religious concept or a hopeful feeling about the future. In the teachings of Joseph Murphy, faith is described as a mental attitude that impresses ideas upon the subconscious mind. When a thought is repeated with deep belief and emotional certainty, it gradually becomes accepted by the subconscious. Once the subconscious mind accepts an idea as true, it begins working continuously to express that idea in reality. Many people speak positive words about success or prosperity, yet they repeat them only occasionally and without conviction. Because the subconscious mind responds to repetition and belief, occasional statements rarely create lasting change. The mind learns through patterns. When an idea is repeated frequently, it becomes familiar. When it becomes familiar, it begins to feel natural. When it feels natural, the subconscious mind accepts it as part of your identity. Repetition is the method through which ideas travel from the surface level of consciousness into the deeper layers of the mind. Each time a thought is repeated, it leaves an impression. At first, the impression may be weak, but as repetition continues, the impression grows stronger. Eventually, the idea becomes a mental habit. Once it becomes a habit, it begins influencing your perception, behavior, and expectations without requiring conscious effort. Faith strengthens this process by adding emotional certainty to the repeated thought. When you repeat an idea with genuine belief, your mind becomes more receptive to it. The subconscious mind responds strongly to thoughts that are accompanied by emotion. A statement spoken with confidence and feeling carries far more influence than a statement spoken mechanically. This is why affirmations are most effective when they are repeated with calm conviction and imagination. An affirmation is not simply a phrase you repeat. It is a mental statement designed to plant a new belief within the subconscious mind. When you declare something such as, "Prosperity flows freely into my life," You are introducing a new idea into the deeper levels of your thinking. At first, your conscious mind may question the statement because it compares the affirmation with present circumstances. If your current financial situation does not yet reflect prosperity, the conscious mind may resist the idea. This resistance is natural, but it does not prevent the affirmation from influencing the subconscious mind if repetition continues. The key is persistence. When the same idea is repeated consistently over time, it gradually weakens the influence of older beliefs that once dominated the mind. The subconscious mind begins replacing the old pattern with the new one. What once felt unrealistic begins to feel possible, and what once felt possible begins to feel expected. Faith plays an important role during this transition. Faith allows you to continue repeating the new belief even before external evidence appears. It is the quiet confidence that the mental seed you are planting will eventually grow. Without faith, many people abandon the process too quickly because they do not see immediate results. The subconscious mind operates according to natural principles. Just as a seed planted in soil requires time to germinate and grow, an idea planted in the mind requires time to develop into visible results. During this period, repetition keeps the idea alive and active in the subconscious. Each time you repeat a belief about prosperity, success, or opportunity, you reinforce the mental pathway associated with that belief. Neuroscience shows that repeated thoughts strengthen neural connections in the brain. The more frequently a thought is repeated, the easier it becomes for the brain to produce that thought automatically. This is why negative thinking patterns can become deeply rooted when they are repeated over many years. Statements such as, "I can't succeed," or "money is always a struggle," may have been repeated so often that they became automatic beliefs. The subconscious mind accepted these ideas simply because they were repeated frequently. Repetition can also be used to replace these limiting beliefs with empowering ones. By consciously choosing new thoughts and repeating them consistently, you begin forming new mental pathways that support growth and prosperity. Over time, these new patterns become stronger than the old ones. Faith gives emotional strength to this repetition. When you speak words of prosperity with a sense of certainty, you are not merely repeating sounds. You are transmitting a message to your subconscious mind that this idea is important and meaningful. The subconscious responds by storing the idea and gradually aligning your inner expectations with it. Another powerful way to strengthen faith and repetition is through visualization. When you repeat a statement about prosperity and simultaneously imagine the experience of financial success, the message becomes more vivid. The subconscious mind responds strongly to images because images create emotional responses. For example, when you imagine yourself living with financial freedom, managing successful projects, or contributing value to others through your work, the mind begins associating those experiences with your identity. The repeated combination of words and images creates a powerful imprint within the subconscious. The timing of repetition can also influence how deeply ideas enter the subconscious mind. Moments when the conscious mind is relaxed, such as early in the morning or before sleep, are especially effective for affirmations. During these periods, the mind becomes more receptive because mental resistance is lower. Repeating positive beliefs during these quiet moments allows them to sink deeper into the subconscious layers of your mind. The thoughts you hold just before sleep often remain active in the subconscious throughout the night. While you rest, your subconscious continues processing and reinforcing those ideas. Faith does not mean ignoring effort or responsibility. Instead, it creates the mental environment that encourages constructive action. When you believe that prosperity is possible, you naturally begin acting in ways that support that belief. Your decisions become more confident, your communication becomes more optimistic, and your willingness to pursue opportunities increases. This shift in behavior gradually changes the circumstances around you. People respond differently to someone who carries a sense of belief and positivity. Opportunities often arise through interactions with others, and a confident mindset makes those interactions more productive. Repetition also strengthens focus. When you repeatedly affirm your goals and beliefs, your attention becomes directed toward ideas that support them. Instead of allowing random thoughts to dominate your mind, you deliberately guide your thinking toward constructive directions. This disciplined focus reduces the influence of doubt and distraction. When negative thoughts appear, they are more easily replaced because you have already established a stronger pattern of positive thinking through repetition. Faith and repetition together form a powerful cycle. Repetition strengthens belief, and belief makes repetition more meaningful. As belief grows stronger, your subconscious mind accepts the idea more fully. Once accepted, the idea begins influencing your expectations and behavior automatically. Over time, the belief that once required conscious effort becomes a natural part of your thinking. You no longer feel as though you are trying to convince yourself of prosperity. Instead, you begin expecting progress and opportunity as normal parts of life. Gratitude can also reinforce the power of faith and repetition. When you regularly express appreciation for the progress, opportunities, and resources already present in your life, you strengthen the belief that abundance exists around you. Gratitude directs your attention toward what is working rather than what is lacking. This shift in focus encourages the subconscious mind to produce more thoughts aligned with appreciation and growth. The mind tends to multiply whatever it consistently observes and values. By valuing progress and opportunity, you encourage your mind to seek more of them. Patience remains an essential element throughout this process. The transformation of beliefs does not happen overnight. Years of repeated thinking patterns cannot always be replaced instantly. However, steady repetition supported by faith gradually reshapes the mental environment within which your life unfolds. As this transformation continues, your inner dialogue becomes more supportive and constructive. Instead of criticizing your efforts or expecting failure, your thoughts begin encouraging progress and creativity. This supportive inner environment makes it easier to pursue goals and persist through challenges. The subconscious mind becomes an ally rather than an obstacle. Instead of repeating doubts and fears, it begins reinforcing ideas of possibility and success. The repeated impressions of prosperity, combined with the quiet confidence of faith, continue shaping the beliefs that guide your perceptions, decisions, and actions toward greater opportunity and growth